Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video, and this is another basketball reaction, and this one is another JxmyHighroller video, which actually came out yesterday, or maybe last night, so early morning, and the video is, I can't believe he actually pulled this off. I'm not too sure what this is actually going to be on, but I mean, I'm thinking now, every time he posts, I'm just going to do a reaction, because I feel like it's a good way to keep on top with his videos, and people do enjoy his my reactions to his, because his videos are really interesting. So I mean, I appreciate the people who do watch those. And let's just give this a watch. I see this is TJ Warren, so maybe it's about him. I mean, we're gonna see. Maybe this is just an intro, but let's check this out. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Quick shout out to my Twitter. I'm starting to be more active on there, so like if you want to interact with me more, Twitter's in the link in the description. So yeah, for those interested, that's down there. But let's check this out and see what's in this video.
You know how TJ Warren looked like the best player on the planet and drew comparisons to Michael Jordan for 2 weeks, and then just as abrupt as it came, it went? What happened? For a 5-game stretch, TJ Warren had millions of NBA fans convinced that they were watching the greatest basketball player to ever touch a ball.
So it is on him then?
Not the greatest, but some of y'all were really running away with this narrative. Warren went from averaging 20 points a game to averaging nearly 35-7.
Oh my days, I must have missed this then. I mean, I obviously know of him as a name, like as a name in the NBA, but I must have missed this. Like, I know he has his rivalry with Butler, but I did not notice this. I did not see this. 35 points on average, 2.5 assists. So that's some insane numbers.
And 2 on 60%
what the
shooting.
Fuck?
It only took 5 games to convince what seemed like the majority of NBA fans that TJ Warren was next up. And then a first-round sweep and 4 average games later, he was back to being TJ Warren. See, this has happened before. The NBA player who completely balls out for a handful of games and looks like a completely different player overnight. In fact, what TJ Warren did is pretty mediocre compared to what some other players have done.
Okay.
Overnight transformations, you have to see to believe.
This is going to be a banger. So it's not on TJ Warren, it's on like players who have had hot streaks for a few games. Okay, I'm excited for this video, man.
Today's video is brought to you by...
Get your money, bro. Get your money. Everyone's sponsored by DraftKings, isn't they?
A bench. Sign up using promo code HighRoller and enter the Football Survivor pool today. Remember back in 2012 when Jeremy Lin went from a bench warmer playing 5 minutes a game to being the most electrifying player in the entire league? If you witnessed it firsthand, you'd know how ridiculous this was at the time. 0 points, 2 points, 0 points, 4, 3, 8, 4, 2, 25, 28.
Actually wild how you just turn up like that.
38? What's going on here? Starts off the season with a 9-game run that nearly had him demoted to the D-League, and then goes on one of the most historic runs by a non-superstar. But like most players who have...
How many did not plays he had there?
These apparently random moments of greatness, it's only a matter of time before things settle back down. Before the law of averages rears its ugly face and brings our heroes back down to earth with stat lines that don't resemble that of Wilt Chamberlain. When TJ Warren was on his unbelievable run a few weeks ago, I couldn't help but be reminded of Linsanity, and how as a fan base we should all know better by now. Like, are we really going to allow a few games to dictate the narrative on a player's entire trajectory?
It happens in sport, doesn't it? A lot.
Yes, we are. Because
I'm curious as to how like hyped up he was really getting, because I'm seeing like he must have like the media attention for this must have been pretty big, because I'm seeing all these sort of sites with these sort of titles with him like from earlier in the video, and I mean from 5 games that is pretty insane. Even though those 5 games were ridiculous, to get this type of sort of like, for that to happen, like to get hyped up like that after a few good games, it is pretty crazy.
Because it's fun, and we refuse to learn from our mistakes. Just as long as we don't do this all the time.
I love that meme so much.
Well, it happens. Sometimes players just step up their game so much that even if it's for just a few games, we take notice and make some pretty outlandish claims and comparisons. But some players had overnight transformations that were so drastic that even the most conservative fans would swear they were witnessing the next GOAT. There was once a man named Mike James.
Not familiar.
He's not dead or anything. He's just not in the... Anyways, Mike played for a few NBA teams in his days, like the Chicago Bulls. He averaged a very modest 2 points per game there. He also played for the Hornets, and also averaged 2 points a game with them. And the Pistons, the Heat, the Mavericks, the Bucks, Timberwolves,
a lot of teams.
Wizards,
Fuck
Celtics,
me.
and the Raptors. Mike James...
Brother's been everywhere. What the fuck? So some teams has actually got a very high sort of points per game record.
Played for 11 NBA teams as a solid to low level role player. Except for one season.
Yeah.
Leading up to the 2005-2006 NBA season, Mike James averaged 9.2 points and 3.5 assists per game. This wasn't because of a lack of minutes or opportunity or anything like that. The man just couldn't shoot the damn ball, averaging only 41% from the field during his first four NBA seasons. But after getting traded from the Rockets to the Raptors, I guess Mike James found a pair of Michael Jordan's shoes in his locker because this man became a whole new player. Before the 2005-2006 season, out of the 248 career games James played in, he had 0 30-point games.
What the fuck?
0. After being traded to the Raptors,
James
went on a 20-game stretch in which he had 10.
Bro, sport is ridiculous. Basketball is ridiculous. How this is possible? You can go 5 years of your career never reaching 30 once. And now you do that 10 times in 20 games.
30-point games. Outscoring Ray Allen, LeBron James, Paul Pierce, Joe Johnson, and Carmelo Anthony, all in a matter of just weeks.
What the
fuck? To finish off the season, Mike went on a 10-day rampage and averaged 31 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds per game.
I don't get it, man.
After being an, at best, average NBA player his entire career, Mike James virtually became prime Michael Jordan for 10 days.
That is
this
crazy.
Incredible run into perspective, the average PER in the NBA is an even 15. Leading up to his time with the Raptors, Mike maintained an average PER of 14.2 throughout his career. But for the entire last month of the 2005-2006 season, Mike had an average PER of 23.9, 10th in the entire NBA.
What the fuck?
A man that didn't even average double-digit scoring once in his entire career became one of the league's most dominant players for an entire month.
That's so mind-blowing, man.
In the following season, he wasn't.
Just in a flip of a switch, he's back to normality.
After his incredible run, Mike signed with the Timberwolves the next season and didn't see another 30-point game for the rest of his entire career.
I don't get it. Oh, mate, he does these like JxmyHighrollers videos, man. They are something else. These stats are so insanely crazy. How are you gonna go 5 years earlier to never having like a 30-point game? Then you go on a 20-game streak on the next season where you've got 10 like 30-point games, and then when you leave, you're never getting one again. I don't understand how that's possible, but it's just maybe it's sort of it shows the importance of maybe confidence. Like maybe he was going on such a confident streak when he was at the Raptors, but then he lost that confidence, or maybe he got when he moved teams again. He just wasn't seen as the important player. He was again a role player. So maybe like that was the case. But that is wild, man.
Now I'm gonna show you something that is so shocking.
It's insane.
I literally couldn't believe it. When I saw this for the first time, I had to double check different sources to make sure this was accurate. So here's a stretch of games by former NBA player Larry Hughes in early 2000. He played for the 76ers and he was an at times below average rotational guy.
Yeah.
The majority of his games did not see double-digit scoring. Just here in this 21-game stretch, he scored in double digits only 7 times. This wasn't a particularly thriving time in Larry's career. But on February 16th, on the final day of this stretch of games, Larry was traded to the Golden State Warriors. And in that same exact season,
what the hell
in the very next month, he did this.
Oh my god. I don't get it. I just don't get it. That is insane. 40-point game, 30-point fame.
A 23-game stretch with numbers fit for a first ballot Hall of Famer. For 40 days, Larry Hughes...
Look at that! Oh my god. See, that 18 back in the day would have been one of his worst performances whilst at the Golden State Warriors in this little spell. God, confidence is really important, man. You get that little flip of confidence and it can change everything. Oh shit, went forward.
Became the chosen one. The next NBA superstar.
The hype must have been insane.
Larry struggled to get even 10 points. But immediately after joining the Warriors, Larry Hughes had not one, but 2 40-point games and 7 30-plus point games. Look at this. God. 44, 7, 6, and 3 on 55% shooting from the field. How? Larry went from averaging 7, 3, and 1 to averaging 25, 6, and 4 the very next.
That is absurd. I'm sorry I keep pausing it. I mean, you can't see the stats in the top bottom left, but 7.6, 1.2, 3.1 from what you can't see. And then this side, he's went up like 17 in points, like his averages went up that much. And all of them are just like tripled and doubled in everything. I can't get over this.
Month. Here's a chart of the most productive guards in the NBA post All-Star break in 2000. The numbers you see represent the total number of points, rebounds, and assists each player averaged per game. You have some Hall of Famers early in their prime like Ray Allen, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, and then there's Larry Hughes, the second most productive guard in the entire NBA.
What is this?
For the second half of the season. The man transformed in the blink of an eye. If social media existed in the year 2000, do you understand how many Bleacher Report posts Larry would have gotten?
That's so true.
This 23-game stretch would lead you to believe that he finally got his break and he would soon find the success he deserved. And you'd be right. Larry Hughes was fortunate enough to achieve one of the most elusive titles in all of basketball. The guy who got really good out of nowhere and then actually stayed good.
Oh, that's kind of sick.
A rare feat. But Larry pulled it off. Now, for a moment, I want you to imagine you are a 6-year NBA vet, a 5', 11-inch point guard who fills his role, but nothing more. Your career numbers, 9 points, 3 assists, and 1 rebound a game on 45% shooting. You've played enough basketball to know that you've earned a spot in the league, but you also know you'll never be the guy. It just won't happen. You've played 420 NBA games, and you've scored 20-plus points 31 times.
Okay, I see that.
You've never had a single 30-point game in your 6 years in the league. And then, out of nowhere, in your 421st career game, it happens. Your first 30-point game. It took 42 minutes and 14 shots to do it. The best game of your entire life. But it will probably never happen again. And then 6 days later, it happens again.
Oh my
God. Then again 15 days later.
Look at that form he's on now.
And again, and again, and again, and then again.
What
the
fuck?
420 games for you to log your first 30-point game. And yet, it only took 26 games to log the next 7. All topped off with a 50-point explosion. 50 points. This is what happened to former NBA player Dana Barros. For 5 years, Barros averaged 9 points, 3 assists, and 1 rebound a game. But for a 40-game stretch, for what appears to be no
Do you reckon what could lead to these kinds of explosions in form, I guess you could say, is maybe a player got injured and maybe he had to sort of take his place and become the more important role? Maybe that could be the case. But still, like, he's up in everything. Like, he's tripled nearly his points per game. He's doubled his RPG, 3.2 like rebounds per game. And like everything's just like doubled and tripled, and like his percentages have gone up. It's just, and it's all in the space of like, I feel like it's just getting the confidence of getting the 130 point maybe, and then it just comes and flows and comes again. It's just, I can't get over how like really like just random this is. I feel like it's more of a mental thing as well though.
Isn't it all? He averaged 25 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals a game. This isn't some 5
That's
or
wild.
even 20 game sample. Dana did this for half of an entire season. This man tripled his production on better efficiency for 40 games straight. Imagine for a second that Alex Caruso began to average something like 23-7 and 4 a game, and then maintained this level of play for half of the season, and then became an NBA All-Star, because this is what Dana Barros did. From a player who started only 98 out of 372 career games to being a top 25 player in the NBA the very next season in the middle of his career. But streaks like this happen all the time. Of course, not to the incredibly shocking extent that we saw with Mike James, Larry Hughes, and Dana Barros, but it does happen. 5-game stretches, 20-game stretches, and in some rare cases, half of an entire season in the middle of a 15-year career. This happens more often than you would think. And yet somehow we continue to allow ourselves to be prisoners of the moment and hop online the instant some guy gets 30 points to claim he's the next Kobe Bryant. Why do we do this to ourselves? Maybe because we all want to be the guy who said, I saw it coming before anyone else.
So true.
So we have written proof that we predicted some average player was next up based off of some 5-game sample size. Who knows? But next time you witness an average player morph into 2006 Kobe Bryant overnight, remind yourself of Jeremy, Larry, Mike, and Dana. That even the underdogs can shine like goats every once in a while.
Mate, it's true.
Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, until next time.
This channel is so good, man. He is so good. His videos are insane. And I find it really interesting how like, soccer and basketball fans are very similar in terms of like how they hype players. Like you'll see someone in soccer like go on like a 10-game streak of like having like 7 goals and like 4 assists, and suddenly he's the next Ronaldo, and then 10 games after he scored 1 and got like 1 more assist. It's just like form is so important, but like it's just interesting how in terms of fans, how fans look at it, how similar like they can be no matter what the sport is, man. I love it though. It just shows the culture in sport in general is just, we love to hype players up, which isn't a bad thing to do, to be fair. Like sometimes it can be to their detriment, but like to hype a player up, it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? But this was interesting. Some of these examples were like unreal. Like some of them are actually just nuts. How you can just in a flip of a switch you can become one of the best players in the league for that season. It's mind blowing to me, but insane, man. I feel like most underrated YouTuber of all time. I mean, I'll second that for sure. He's so good, man. It's just, I love his videos so damn much. Dana Barros was on weed until game 420 and then stopped. He was good. Oh, I hate you. On the weed. Fuck's sake. It's because someone was playing 2K and they played as them, but when they stopped, they became normal again. Jimmy really thought we were serious when he called MJ Warren. Who else is seeing this after the Miami Heat beat the Bucks in the playoffs? Yeah, the Heat absolutely done them, man. I'm surprised about that. I actually predicted the Bucks to get to the finals against the Lakers, and they proved me completely wrong. But I mean, congrats to the Heat, man. They are some team for sure. A reaction to that game may come out. I'll consider that. Even the underdogs can shine like the goats every once in a while. Jimmy, to put this into perspective, high roller. He loves to say, doesn't he, that sort of stuff. I don't like that you kept showing Bol like he actually gets minutes touches when the postseason started. People do like Bol, don't they? He seems like a sort of cult hero, which I do get because obviously his father was like in the sport, etc. To put this into perspective, Mike James really, because of the mix Michael Jordan and LeBron James, as his name suggests. When you realise the war on insane numbers is literally just what Harden does every game. I mean, Harden gets a lot of stick, to be fair, but I see this and I do really enjoy these videos again. I just hope you guys went on to enjoy this. And yeah, like more of these JxmyHighroller videos will come for sure. Like I just love doing these reactions when they come out. So hopefully you guys go on to enjoy. Any more suggestions? Maybe some of his older videos if you want to see them. Quick shout out to my second channel. I'm posting like people are probably thinking where my game reactions to the NBA are. They're all going on the second channel and there's being posted pretty much every day or every other day to the games that I feel like people would like to see. So if you're interested in that, you can click the link in the description to my second channel. But yeah, hopefully you guys go on to enjoy. Until next time, like, subscribe, peace.